Hey, good morning. This is Bob from Trade Genius, the 20th of May, and my weekend update. What an incredible week we had. We're finally getting a two-way market, and I think this is just the beginning. I think probably control has been lost a little bit, and it's going to make it fun and scary to trade. And my admonition to people is you're going to have to think shorter time frames. And if you're in the big beta stocks and the ones that have been ramped the most, I highly encourage you to trim if you're a long term investor. And if you're a trader, you know, get ready to day trade. I mean, that's the only way you could have made money last week if you're a trader because the reversals have been just brutal. This reminded me a little bit of 2008 where they get people leaning the wrong way and then they turn it. They did a two day dump on the market, and then that's just enough time to get people out of their mutual funds. Because they panic the first day, they call their broker the second day, the broker sells, and then they turn right around and ramp it again, and then the people are going to be like, oh shoot, it was nothing. And they jump back in and then they take it down again, and this is how they just drain people's brokerage accounts in 2008. They just get you a day late and spin it because they know people with mutual funds, and ETFs. They come home from work, they see things, they call their broker and tell them or their financial advisor, get me out, and or trim or whatever, and then it starts to get crazy, and then you're gonna get the brokers are gonna say after a while, hey, look, just stay long on this because all they're doing is trying to shake you out, and then the persistent down move comes. I'm just telling you, it's happened before, it'll happen again, and I think we're getting a repeat. We just simply, the laws of physics are going to keep this market from going up. You just cannot grow earnings faster than you can grow revenue, faster than you can grow GDP without simply firing every employee you have. And then there goes your market. I mean, you simply can't do it. I don't know what people are thinking. And then you have the Federal Reserve talking about this goofy ass rate rise, which just drives the price of every the indebtedness of everybody up, and just causing even more financial stress. And then we're going to go into October. We're not going to have a healthcare law passed, and then we're going to have across the board double digit increases. Companies are going to pass that on to their employees to the extent that they're allowed. So the companies are going to take a ding and the employees are going to take a ding. It's just going to transfer more cash from discretionary purchases and in some cases staples into the healthcare bucket. And so people are going to make two decisions. They're just going to simply drop healthcare. If you don't own any assets, which I guess we're like 90% of the Americans do not anymore own really anything of value, um, drop your health insurance. Pay for your out of pocket. And if you get really sick, run up the tab and then file for bankruptcy. If you have less than $150,000 of equity in your home, you get to keep it. And so the only people who are going to probably be screwed are people in California, New York that have huge, maybe Hawaii, huge equity cushions. You know, but everywhere else in the country, these healthcare companies, I don't think they can't think past the day ahead. Nobody can anymore. It's just amazing. There's just no strategic thinking anymore. It is literally live for today. And in 2 years from now, people are going to be blowing up all over the place. And these companies are going to blow up right behind them because you can't get blood from a rock. I have a family member, I'll just keep it at that level, in their 80s. And just, it was a $40,000 hospital bill, end of life kind of stuff, and what's that person? That person's on Medicare, so there's some sort of that gets transferred to taxes. But let's say that happens to a 55-year old or a 60-year-old, and they're renting, and they can't pay the health insurance, and then they drop it. You go to the emergency room, they have to take you. You just could squat there, and demand treatment every time you're sick. You go to the emergency room. I mean, I just don't think these people really think these things through, so it's been my rant for a couple years. I just don't understand it. I mean, the party that figures out healthcare will be dominant for the next 15 years, and the Republicans have squandered it. And the Democrats' solutions are, well, you saw their solution. What an abortion that is. And so, and there are solutions out there, really simple ones, but it requires people to actually compromise, and it's not going to happen. So anyway, all we can do is try to profit from it so that we can be able to pay for these things. And that's been my mantra forever. The reason why I do this is that we have to have a backup plan. And so I can't fight it. I can sit there and I can pout and I can yell, I can scream, or I can make sure I make enough money to pay for the stupid health insurance that I have to pay for, and just watch my family's budget so that I could pay. And my family, we pay, we're probably $25,000 a year for health insurance. We own our own business. We pay our group insurance plan. We pay our deductibles. We have medicines that they're not even covered in the network. So they just, so all I'm doing is, and we're not sick, which is amazing. But, anyway, I digress. But it's something to really be worried about, and I think it's literally going to take the economy off the rails. You just can't support it. And so I think those things are starting to come up. The summer of discontent is coming. So anyway, let's talk about the markets here a little bit. So VXX was beautiful. We had a beautiful trade for volatility. So I like to take credit for the trade, but it was one of my subscribers that suggested the last 2 weeks to put some butterflies on. I'm always reluctant to go long volatility because it's been such a persistent move down, and it paid us twice. So I really think, and that's the community we have at Trade Genius. In the chat room, there's some incredible ideas. I don't have the monopoly on good ideas, and that was just a brilliant way to play it. If we both times we've made 8 times our investment off small investments. So if we were wrong, it was like okay, but we were right twice. And I think next week we're going to get another chance to butterfly some UVXY. But we caught it both ways this week. I actually took the butterfly off on Friday at the same time I took UVXY puts off. That's how insane the market was. So my butterfly blew right through my profit number overnight into unprofitability. And then by Friday it blew right back into the max profit zone. I got out and it kept going down, right? I went back and got nothing for it. At the same time, my UVXY puts just went insane. And I mean, I had some out of the money ones too. I had 1350s and I had 14s. And 1350s were from this Friday to 14s for the Friday a week. And it blew right through them all. I thought for sure the 1350s were going to expire worthless. I was just simply astounded by the move down, especially with all the political stuff going on. But at the end of the day, VXX and UVXY started drifting back up again. If you notice, they put some news out there towards the end. So I wouldn't be surprised next week to see volatility return. So just keep an eye on it. One thing is a tell for me, and I'll just share with you, is if this gets over 50 on the intermediate stochastic, whenever the money flow turns up, and it's going to turn back up probably Monday or Tuesday, it's okay to put a long vol trade on. And I really like this the butterfly approach. And all a butterfly is two spreads. One's a credit spread and one's a debit spread, and they use the middle number as the anchor. And so I'll put that out on for those who subscribe on Monday. I'll put I'll put that out into the room and onto Twitter. The trade that we're going to take, small amount of money, and see if we can get a big return on it again. But once it's over 50, then you should get a move. And a lot of times, and hasn't done it lately, but you get these double moves in the VIX. Here was kind of like a setup, and then it went. But once it gets over 50 here, you can get a good trade going. SPY, I think this is a dead cat bounce. It has to get back under the 100 again. but this was simply just squeezing people. And I sold 241, 243s on Friday mid-morning for next Friday credit spreads. I'm confident they're not going to go into money. Financials, this end of the day candle I think tells me a lot. I think this just kept going back down again. Just watching the money flow. This is trend is down. Talk UVXY, IWM. We closed our TWM this week, hit our profit target, and then I've been holding IWM puts, and I've just been rolling them out every week now for, gosh, it's been like 4 or 5 weeks now, and using them as a spread. And so I had 135.50s calendar on, and then I had for this Friday, was yesterday, I had 135 sold. And so I closed those out because they're worth like 2 or 3 cents, and then I put on a 135 for next Friday because I wasn't sure how long this move was going to last, and I just didn't want to be totally directional. But at about 11 o'clock, 11:40 my time, I guess 2:40 Eastern time, we saw something in our day. We have a thing called Day Trading Money Machine. It kind of gives me hints to go long or short in the futures, but it works really well for IWM too, and SPY. And we noticed that there was a deterioration in the trend, and I called it out saying, "Hey guys, I think we could probably short the ES or the SPY into the close based on this signal." And I took off my short leg, and then IWM just dropped 70 cents. So I picked up a quick couple $100 off my option, and I left the short leg off for the week because I think that can't bounces out. So if you're interested in a really great tool, some guys use it to actually day trade with options. Is if you go out to the TradeGeniusAcademy.com site, we have in the tips and tricks area, we have a thing called the Day Trading Money Machine. I think my partner, I think, still has it off at 50% off. I focus on trading, he focuses on the business, and it's an incredible tool. And so we teach you how to use it. We actually give you a download on the crossovers so that you have it. It's yours, and once you have it, you can actually trade from it. It's really good. And the price we charge for it, you'll pay for itself probably in the first 1 or 2 trades. It's a really great tool, and we're working on a swing trade one, and we're optimizing one for Nadex too. So we're gonna have some really good tools out there for you guys to trade and make money and be confident, and so that you can make money during this turmoil. But anyway, alerted to us. So we made money on ES short. We made money on IWM puts, and I think this is going to continue next week. And so I'm still looking for IWM just to keep falling because the financials are in IWM. GDX. I went back into SLW again. This right here is what is called an embedded move. So as long as this thing stays, in the 80 area up and it starts to move back higher, and we get a money flow crossover back up, then it's worth taking a shot with GDX. And so I still think there's a move there coming. It's above its VWAP, it's above its 100-day moving average, so that's bullish. I just don't know how long they're going to go. A lot of people are calling for the dollar to start pushing back higher again, which is negative. So what we have to do is we have to keep an eye on the yen. And if they start selling the yen off hard, then our minor move will be over. And then we'll short Nugget with some puts and make profit and get ourselves set up for the next move higher in the minors. But right now, it's saying, still be long. Apple, some folks made some profit off this trade I suggested on the weekend, and I think this is going to roll over again. And so, just can wait on Monday if we get a little bit more weakness. I think it's still going to roll down to here. I think people can make a couple grand buying some Apple puts. XIV, what an incredible move. We on Thursday we did, was it Thursday or Wednesday? Thursday. I forget. I have to look at my notes. But we tried 3 times, actually 4 times, to make money on XIV. The first 2 times we got blown out for small losses, and then the last 2 times were just big gain and super big gain. And so the one thing about XIV when the market starts getting hinky is that it's going to have some really scary moves, and sometimes you're going to have to take some shots at trying to catch the falling knife, because the intraday moves can be astounding. And so we like to scale in and scale out of XIV, and so I don't care if I'm wrong a couple times, because I'm losing 30 or 40 cents on average on my trades. But if we're right, the one trade we did, I just put a buck profit up. The second time I put up $3 profit, and then the other time I just suggested a target, and the target was like $3 higher than where it was, and it hit it. So not that I had any kind of omniscience, it's just that there were some targets out there that looked like they wanted to reach, and it sure did. But you can grind out dollar gains on this thing all day long if you catch these intraday turns, and then hop off and let it roll down again and do it again. So anyway, XIV is going to be a money machine when we get this volatility back, even if the volatility is high, because the moves are going to be so erratic. I'm going to short ERX on Monday. The oil just stayed high, I think, for the Saudi visit, and we'll see a rollover in that. We're just producing too much oil. This was just simply a game for the OPEC meeting and the King's meeting with our president. Okay, looks like if we go below here before we go above here, that's a failure, and then we're going down to here, and that means the market's going to sell up pretty hard. Okay, I'm talking about Nugget. We will short Nugget on a failure, and then we'll make some good money on that, because these moves are pretty violent. See if anything else I want to show you here. Dogs are waking up, and here's dust. We're out of our dust trade. Like I said, I'm not sure what's going to happen. I don't think it's worth it. The big move's not here yet. I think we're going to get a big move higher in dust first to be able to short that later. But we'll just have to wait and see. Gold, it's trapped between its VWAP and 100-day. Okay, UCO, I think this is going to be a short. I have a UCO put on, and I'm going to keep it. And I think this move is coming to an end. And so if I have to roll it out a week or two, I will. There's silver right up against the 100-day. That's what gets me a little nervous, just being stopped there. Mosaic came to life a little bit. I'll be interested when Mosaic crosses over here. It's absolutely looks like it's captive with the dollar. Anything ag has been captive with the dollar. That's been a problem. You just can't get any move in those commodities with a strong dollar. Okay, this will be a short here soon, but it looks like there's some strength in it yet. This is going to start turning up. This is moving up, and I was going to short it. I'm so glad I didn't. That big gap up on Friday, and so I'm just going to kind of wait. Real estate. This time we may have, if we have yields down and real estate down, then I know the recession has begun. So just keep that in your notes. This XBI I think is going to be a good put, and I'm probably thinking about doing that. That might be my 2 option trades I'll take next week: ERX short, XBI short with puts. I never short. Okay, I think we gained back everything we lost on that move in April. Like I said, I'm just kind of waiting, seeing on AG. I'd like for this to sell down again and be able to buy it back. Looks like another failure here. I just think this market's going to roll over hard. Those are, You never short the first break, but you certainly short the second failure, and then that one pays. In this case, the second mouse gets the cheese, not the first one. Talked oil. There's the RX. Short SPY. SLW. I'm in it. I need to have some exposure. I can sell and buy calls, on this, or I could sell naked puts on this, because I have enough margin. Like I said, this will be my big position going in. I just don't know if the market sells off, it'll be kind of deflationary, and so I don't want to be too heavy. But by the end of June, I want to have 5,000 shares of SLW. I just don't know when it's going to be appropriate for me. I'll probably sell some puts on this thing next week. I tried to sell puts to buy more, but it never came down to it. So actually, I just pocketed the cash, and I will I'll probably do it next week too. I'll probably sell 2050s or 20s. I don't think whatever happens, I don't think we're gonna get down to here again. But even if we do, I'll be happy to buy 1,000 shares at 50-cent increments down 18. I doubt it's going to get lower than that. But I do want to set something cautionary for people. Some people are selling puts for income, thinking that they can just go ahead and buy the shares. And I just want to show you a reason why you probably don't want to be doing that. Okay, that is a huge move, and when this market breaks, and you're selling puts on a even a large cap, and it drops $6 on you. People are saying, "Oh, you can just buy the shares," but you're responsible. You're responsible for buying it at the price where you're selling your put at. You're not getting the shares at that price. You're paying, if you were selling the 38s, well, guess what? You had and your option comes due. You're buying this thing at 38, not 34, 33, or 35. And you're instantly in the whole 10%. And you've been grinding pennies the whole time. With option pricing this low, with the volatility, it's just crazy stupid unless you really truly want to own those shares. And most people don't. They're doing this for income. They have no interest in owning those shares, because you may never get your price back. So just a caution. Let's see if anything else I want to show you. And I think that's pretty much it. So enjoy the weekend. I'll be probably putting out some things to show you some really cool features in futures later this weekend. But next week's going to prove to be very interesting and very profitable. We just have to keep an open mind as to direction. But volatility is returning, and that's a good thing for traders. I'll catch you guys later. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.